Hello, welcome back. I had this vinyl like forever. I got it a very long time ago at Hobby Lobby. One of my, let's go check out the clearance bin and see what they have available. And I've always kind of wanted to do something with this, but it wasn't until recently that I was pulling out all of my vinyl and trying to figure out a way to organize it that I saw this again and I thought, you know what, this is going to be perfect for my Easter tumbler. Now what I'm doing here is I'm trying to figure out like what lines I wanted as far as like color wise. I was going to have I wanted to make sure that I had the right colors that I wanted or whatever. So anyways, as you can see there, I took my pencil and just drug it on the side of the tumbler while it was on that Cami Page Boutique little holder, and that just gives me a straight line right there. It's so cool and so easy. I found that little trick out a long time ago and it was really, really cool. So anyways, I'm taking my Bowen thing that Rachel sent me, and I just absolutely am so blessed to have this thing. It is so cool for getting your vinyl to just go on completely straight. So anyways, I rolled that on there and got that lined up the best I could, because these lines were very kind of all over the place, wobbly. There was no actual it wasn't you know, whatever, however you want to say that. Yeah, anyways, I'll come up with the word. Accurate, is that? I don't know. Anyways, the lines did not meet up in the end, and so I just kind of made sure that it was as straight as possible, just so that it wasn't like too crazy wild. And then I used my cutter again. I'm pulling it out and moving it up and down so that I can cut the top and the bottom. When I move it up from that bottom part, that way I can cut the bottom and I still get a pretty close cut down to that bottom rim, because I was gonna do where I just left the rim, that bottom rim open where we weren't gonna do anything to it. So here I was kind of bringing out my double-sided tape, and it's just like I always never have the exact shape that I need, or the exact dimension that I need. But I ended up going with like a thinner one, and then a thicker. I know that's a terrible way to describe that, but what I was doing was, this was almost like a serape type style, and I was going to be using it more for Easter, like Easter stripes, like if you were to have one of those Easter eggs and then you just kind of take your paintbrush and you just paint over, you know, like those little stripes, you know. So I was trying to have like a theme here, and so, but I also wanted it to look kind of like the serape, where there's like, you know, smaller and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then, you know, like the same size, and then smaller and smaller. And so that's why I knew that all of the glitter that I was going to be using was going to be kind of opaque, in the sense that it was going to let some of that color that is on the stripes come through. So I was fine with them being a little bit on top of each other, like, oh, okay, I got a little bit of that green into that orange, because it was already there like that. And when I put the glitter stripes on there, and I finally, you know, I would have you know, that look of like that it's being ombreed into each one, and then it's kind of overlapping each color. And I did this all at the same time. So I just put the vinyl wrap on there, and then I put the double-sided tape. So I did not put a coat of epoxy or grand finale or anything like that on here. So these glitters have been sitting on my works table because I want to make sure that I get the right list for you guys. And I had cut off that last bit on the very end. And so I was kind of lining them up as to like, okay, these colors, this one matches this color, this one matches that color. I think I ended up not doing freshwater, and I ended up doing Dewey Dewey Frost, maybe. This one I was trying to decide whether or not I was going to use B3 or Pearl. They're very similar. I think they might be the same, but one's a little bit thinner. Ended up using Shamrock for the green. So I just ended up starting at the top. I thought about later on, why didn't I do the darker glitter first? But then, I don't know, it just kind of didn't really matter because like I was saying before, this glitter was kind of iridescent, so it kind of has a little bit, you can kind of see through it a little bit, I guess, so it's not like opaque. So it's, it allowed for me to kind of, for like those colors to come through. So it didn't really matter if I had the darker color there or not, because I was going to have a little bit of dark colors kind of maybe coming through on the different lines. Like as you can see on that yellow part right there, some of that green was coming through. So that's why I was going to get a true kind of melded look where each stripe was kind of, you know, flowing into the next one, because these glitters allowed me to do that. If I was using something like a metallic or something like a real thick metal type, you know, looking glitter, then I wouldn't be allowing for those colors to kind of come through on each one of those stripes. This is when I started to realize that I maybe needed to start with the darker color first. But then I started to realize that it didn't really matter as I was going down and going through all of the stripes. It was just, everything was, like I said, the glitter was kind of see-through, so it just really didn't matter if I was getting a little bit of those other colors, which I wasn't, because once you rub it in to, whenever you take, you know, your finger and kind of burnish all that glitter in there like I was doing there, it really does help kind of ensure that all that stickiness has been covered up by that glitter. One other thing I tried to do was kind of stay in the realm of the chunkiness, or the not chunkiness, that the cut, I guess you could say, of each glitter, so that I didn't have anything just like too obscure from the other one. So I tried to make sure that I was kind of staying in that same lane as far as this one. I used Dew Point, I think, or Dewey Frost instead of fresh water like I had done in the beginning, because I kind of wanted a little bit more of a blue tealish, I don't know, it just looked a little more springy, and it was brand new, so I hadn't used it yet, so I wanted to use it. And there she is. I did all these stripes here, and everything just turned out so perfect as far as giving me that Eastery, springy feel. And I just went in and just did a coat of this Crystalette glitter glue, and I didn't really worry too much about contamination, because everything seemed pretty good as far as nothing was kind of going too far into another color or anything like that. So, and it wasn't, like I was saying, like I've been saying, sorry, is that it's iridescent. So even if it was kind of in a different color, it would kind of pull some of those colors through. So it was very easy to just, you know, seal this up, no problem. So I filmed the epoxy coats, but for some reason, I don't know, it just got lost. But I did put 2 coats of epoxy on here and did some sanding and did another coat. I don't know. At some point, I made sure that it was nice and smooth so I could put these stickers on there. I don't know if it was the first or second time after the first or second one, but I got these little gnomes off of Creative Fabrica, and I had a theme because I wanted to have like these carrots and Easter eggs. So because the whole theme of the tumbler was these stripes that were like on an Easter egg. So I put them on either side of the tumbler, right? So I put one on one side, one on the other. Then I flipped it, did the middle of that side and the middle of that side. So they were all kind of like evened out. So And in the spirit of like having an Easter basket and getting all the fun stuff, I wanted to make this a really fun tumbler. And you know, us adults, we just don't get some fun stuff every once in a while in Easter. You know, we're always worried about the kids. So I thought this would be really fun. I'm going to send this to a swap partner of mine, but I ended up putting a piece of white vinyl on the back side here. Now, what I'm going to do is put a water slide over that water piece. I mean, that white piece, I'm sorry. So what that's going to do is, I'll tell you here in a minute. So here is my water slides that I printed on the paper that I was given. It is really, really nice as far as the print quality and everything. So I did print these backwards. I mirrored the images, so it didn't really matter for that that little rabbit, but I did do it for this particular one because I wanted to make sure that the words were done in the right order. So we're going to take this and do a little flip around there, and we're going to wet it that way. I just did wet it just a tiny bit, and then I set it on there just so that it would kind of adhere to that backside. And then I just took my coffee filter and wet it as much as I could until I could feel that the back was coming off. I did try to use my weeding tool, but then I was able to I could feel that it was just going to slide right off, so I just slid it right off. Now, this I cannot take credit for, but I have been wanting to do this since last year, and this is like a little coloring page, and so I just thought that I just kind of minimized it a little bit and put it on the back side here, and I thought it would be really cute to have this little bunny with his little Easter eggs and his this little carrot and all these little gnomes at the bottom. They had their Easter eggs and they had their carrot. And so I just really wanted something a lot of fun, and I just thought with these little stripes and kind of bringing in all of those colors that we were going to have a really cute moment with this tumbler that somebody could have a lot of fun with. Maybe their kids, they can sit down and do it with them, or, you know, I don't know. But I just really was very motivated with this one. I really wanted to just ramp up the cute factor on this. So after those water slides dried and after the water slides dried, I took a coat of Mod Podge and I covered up everything on this tumbler. So I covered up the water slides and everything. It works perfect. It just gives you a nice seal so that you can get a good coat of epoxy on that, you know, for the remainder of your coats so you can finish this tumbler up. So I never would have thought about this unless until PEACHY Olive Glitters, they sent me this little bag of carrots, and they're the little polymer clay, you know, carrots that you, little sprinkles or whatever. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have to add these on here. And the cup just really didn't allow for a drip, in my opinion. I just felt like the drip just wouldn't make a lot of sense. But these little gnomes just, you know, sitting like in these piles of carrots, I thought would be so adorable. And so I just ended up putting just like some liquid fusion stuff that I use for the rhinestones, and I just made a little pile of carrots and just kind of strategically placed them on there. Nothing, you know, very sporadic, as Cher would say. And so I just kind of made like little piles, and then I ended up kind of putting them all around the bottom there. But I had a very good reason for doing them all around the bottom, and you'll see here in a second. So I'm not going to say too much, but my son had come inside, and he was very upset because his daddy had got mad at him, and he was very upset. And so we sat and held each other and cried for a little bit. He cried. And so that's why our nose is sniffly. But I said, hey, why don't you come and help Mommy? And so we just started putting our little carrots on here, and he was such a big helper. And I just thought y'all would enjoy this little moment.
Absolutely. We got to scoot it up just a little bit so it doesn't stay on that silver part. Scoot it up. There you go. Perfect. There you go. Give me a high five. That is awesome. Look, we have so many. That's so cute. Don't mess with them.
There's some glue here.
Okay, we'll put one there. Those little suckers are hard to pick up. Huh? Look, you can do this. There you go. Perfect. Is there any other glue somewhere that we can see? Right there? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Any more glue? You see any more glue? Right there? Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's perfect. It's okay. It's just glue. It won't hurt you. Okay, we see anything else? Oh, wow. Look at that. That's awesome. Look at all those little carrots. Then we need to put a little bit right here on this side here.
Some more glue.
Yep, we gotta get some more glue. We're gonna be a little more sporadic with these. No, stay up on the glitter part. Don't get on this. Okay, now this one's gonna be a little more like one here, one there, one over here kind of thing, instead of them all piled up on top of each other. Okay. Do we need some more? Here, try that. Watch out. Perfect. Like that's not piled up. Perfect. Perfect. Just keep bringing them over. There you go. Little baby carrot. Little baby carrot. Perfect. Baby carrot. It's a baby carrot. It's a little baby carrot.
What kind of carrot is that?
That's like a mommy carrot, I think. Perfect. That is perfect. High five. That is perfect. All right. Look at that. We did so good.
I'll find a baby carrot. Here's one. Baby carrot.
Okay. Any more glue we see?
Right here. Oh.
Perfect. Perfect.
Delivering the carrot.
Perfect. That is perfect. I don't think we need anything more. I don't think we need any more. We're going to pour these.
Sorry, I just had to share that. It's so cute. But the reason that I wanted to show you was because sometimes it's really hard for him to be in there with me and help me. I don't really allow him to do, and I don't do much of this work if he's even at home. I try to avoid it at all costs. But with that kind of stuff, I hadn't been using anything other than that glue, and it just was like so easy for him to come in and just kind of we weren't doing anything exact, so it was kind of fun for him to be able to put his little mark on there. So anyways, we had a lot of fun with that. But like I was gonna say is I sealed this up and then I did those carrots because I knew that when I put coats of epoxy on here that we were going to get a little bit of bulkiness at that bottom, so I didn't want to have anything, so I just sealed it up and then I put those carrots on, just so you know. But I did glue them on so that they were, very secured onto the tumbler before we went into those coats of epoxy. So after that cured, I did do some sanding on the rim and sanding on the bottom, sanding anywhere around the tumbler except for around those carrots because I did not want to mess those up. So I was very, very careful with that bottom rim there, but I did want to do just a tad bit of sanding so that we could get, you know, a good little seal on that back side, on that bottom side after we got done with doing a little bit of that sanding. But I was just kind of making sure that we were getting a nice little coat right over those carrots. So I did bring the epoxy down kind of a little bit further down on that stainless steel than I, you know, did in the beginning, but I wanted to make sure that we were covering them all the way from top to bottom. So then after that, I took my baby wipe and I just kind of wiped off just a nice little line of epoxy around that bottom rim so that we could get it could kind of pull over that, but I didn't want to get it you know, anywhere over that, you know, on the bottom or anything like that. And that was it. Look at our cute little Easter tumbler. I'm just over the moon with this. I think it just turned out so adorable. I love the stripes. I love just the simplicity, but yet it has a lot of little complex little moments, but everything is just like, it's so cute that it doesn't feel like we put in like all this work to it. I love that little image of the rainbows. I thought it brought in a lot of the colors, a lot of Easter colors. It also had the rabbit and the carrots, which I was very adamant on having, and my little gnomes at the bottom just sitting there holding their eggs and their carrots, and then our little coloring page. I just thought would be so fun to you know, just have the kids or you or able to just kind of color and lose yourself in, you know, being a child in that moment. But this water slide worked out really beautiful. The color, the ink and everything was nice. This paper down at the bottom is actually the holographic paper that I used in my neon moon because I can never waste a piece of paper, so I just went ahead and cut them out of that. This paper from this company is awesome. Please like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you think. Please join my Facebook group, and everything's listed below. Thank you so much. See you next time.